Bong Joon-Ho's Snowpiercer came out in 2013. Harvey Weinstein wanted to cut it because he said people in Iowa were too stupid to get it. Yeah, even back then I knew Harvey Weinstein was an asshole. I'm Lindsay, and this is my review for Parasite. I was very excited to see this film. It is regarded as the highest rated film of the year. I really like the director's previous work, especially Snowpiercer. I like that film a lot. And this one is pretty similar as far as some of the themes going on. The basic storyline is, it's set in South Korea. It's this poor family they kind of hustle to make their money, picking up odd jobs here and there. It's a husband and wife and a son and a daughter. The son's friend is a tutor for this rich family and asks the son to fill in for him while he is studying abroad. And so the son goes to fill in for this tutor, and throughout the course of the film, the entire family ingrains themselves into the service of this family through not so honest means. First off, my overall thoughts. I absolutely love this film. It's gorgeous to look at. The acting is incredible. I was very, very impressed by the performances in this film. And every single shot and the blocking and situation are fully thought through by the filmmaker into telling the story. Everything you see on screen is feeding you information. There are no wasted shots, there is no wasted dialogue, there is no throwaway stuff in this film. Every single thing counts towards the overall story being told and letting us know who these characters are. And I like that this is a film where you don't know where it is eventually heading. It surprises you throughout because you think it is going down one path, but then it'll make a slight veer off and then maybe come back, but then it'll shoot way over here sometimes. So it definitely keeps your interest because you absolutely have no idea what is going to happen next. Really, the only thing I have to criticize about this film is that it feels its length, but you're so invested and captivated by what could happen next that it doesn't bother you. There's just a lot packed into this film. Again, there are themes of class structure and classism in this film as there was in Snowpiercer. Where in Snowpiercer, you have the people in the back of the train, were the poor people, the service people, and then towards the front of the train were the more well-to-do, the rich that didn't need for anything. And in this film, we have our main family that we follow. They are very much lower class, struggling to get by, living in a semi-basement, and then they get to take part in the lives of this very rich couple who are very successful, that have everything they need, have everything they want. And of course, because this is a Bong Joon-Ho film, I'm terrible at pronouncing names, because this is his film, there is a lot of mischievous twists going on within that symbolism and narrative of class structure. And it goes into places where you wouldn't think of when it comes to class structure and the differences between lower class and higher class people and how they see the world and how they see other people and who is worse.
참으로 시의적절하다. 부자들이 원래 참 잘 속아.
So that is my overall thoughts on the film. It's hard to talk about this film without getting into spoilers. So if you have not seen it, I highly recommend it. I'm pretty sure it is in theaters nationwide now. It first came out with a limited release, but I think it's in a lot more theaters now. So go see it. I highly recommend it. All right, let's talk some spoilers. So if you have not seen the film and you care about spoilers, skip to this time code. If you don't care about spoilers, keep watching. All right, spoiler time. There's a lot to unpack with this film. Because like I said, there are messages and storytelling going on in every frame of this film. So there's a lot to unpack. I'm only going to talk about a little bit of it because you could talk for hours about this film and the symbolism and the meanings behind things and your interpretation and why this was going on and why this happened and why that happened. It's endless. So much stuff. First of all, this film reminds me a lot of Snowpiercer. They're two different genres of film completely. This is a straight up just normal dramatic film. It's funny. It has a lot of comedy in it. I laughed quite a few times, and I really liked the sense of humor in it. Whereas Snowpiercer was straight up science fiction, action, that kind of thing. But it had the same exact themes going for it, which this director really likes to focus on and play with. Whereas in Snowpiercer, spoilers if you have not seen Snowpiercer, at the end they've had this huge battle to get to the front of the train, and they realize, oh, we were gaslighted into doing this for population control and things like that. We're all just part of this plan and we're puppets kind of thing. In this one, we see a lot of service industry people and things with the service industry and how that relates to how upper class people exist and do the things they do and are able to do the things they do is because they rely on people in the service industry to do all these things for them on a day-to-day basis, including help raise their children, you know. Another thing that had a lot of symbolism to it was the Scholar's Rock. The son's friend gives it as a gift to the family at the beginning, and they put great significance on what it could mean for them, that it means good fortune and money and things like this. And especially the son really clings to that. At the end, he's physically clinging to it, of this idea and this dream and hope. And that also feeds into what this son's father was telling him, you know, after they've lost everything and they're sitting there in the gym waiting for donations of clothing to come in. He says the only plan that never fails is no plan at all. And the son has a very, very difficult time with that. And it's just, it shows someone completely at their lowest level, thinking, why plan anything? Because nothing is gonna come out how I want it to. It's all gonna get messed up in the end. So why even hope for anything? It's very sad. And the end of the film leaves us on that emotional note where the son has this plan and says, I'm gonna make a bunch of money and I'm gonna buy that house, and on the day we move in, all you have to do is walk upstairs. And as the audience, we know that's never gonna happen because it's another plan that's just going to fail. God, that's depressing. Ugh. Even the design of the house is informing the audience, because as in Snowpiercer, the back of the train is very poor and overcrowded and things like that. It represents the extreme lower class, and the front of the train is extreme higher class. Even the house is kind of constructed that way. Whereas that bottom base, well, you have the very, very bottom, the secret basement where the ex-housekeeper is keeping her husband. That's the lowest of the low. That's as low as you can get as a station in this reality. And then you have the regular basement, which has concrete walls. There's no carpet. There's no extra decoration. It's storage. And really the only person that goes down there is the housekeeper. And sometimes the mother will go down there just to point to things for the housekeeper to do or to get. So that is the second level. And then you have the main floor where everybody kind of congregates. The family that lives there spends time there, and also the service worker family spends time there. And then upstairs is the highest pinnacle. That's where the family sleeps and stays, and the only people allowed up there are the brother and sister tutors. So there's levels to this house that symbolizes the class structure, really. One metaphor that I kind of picked up on, but I haven't fully processed it in my head, is our main family that we're following. They live in this half basement, and there's this drunk guy that always pisses outside their window, and they hate it. And they always shoo him away or throw things at him. And there's one scene that there's particular attention given to, where they're throwing water on him, where they see him as below them, perhaps, and they're throwing water on him to get him to go away. And then there's the huge, one of the first climactic scenes where this huge rainstorm happens, and the entire street where they live is flooding, and they live in a half basement, so all that is completely flooded, and all their stuff is destroyed, and they have nothing, and it's this washing away. They had water thrown on them, so there's something to do with water between those two scenes that I haven't quite connected yet, but I know it's there. Another scene that is very telling is when they're hiding underneath the big coffee table, because the family came home early, and the husband and wife are like sleeping on the couch and having sex and things while they're hiding underneath this giant coffee table. And again, that shows that spatial relationship to where they are within the class structure. These people are hiding underneath and laying on the floor while these people are up here doing what they want. Also, one of the favorite sequences in this film for me is after our main character family has lost everything, and they get called in by the rich family to throw together this birthday party for their son. And this rich family just has no awareness or concept that the people that they employ are people too who have actual real problems, and they just lost everything. But they're expected to go to work, and they have them doing things that their job description doesn't apply to. Like following the wife around the grocery store as she shoved things into the basket that he's carrying. And then the housekeeper has to set up all these tables and get all this food ready and everything. And then the daughter, who is the art therapist for the son, they're having her carry the cake out, and then they make the father, who's the driver, put on an Indian headdress and plan to do this elaborate skit thing. So they don't see their employees as people. They see them as, I'm paying you to do what I want, and so you'll do what I want because you want to get paid. And there's that part where the rich dad and the poor dad are hiding in the bushes with the Indian headdress on, and you just, the look on the poor dad's face of just like, I fucking hate you. I hate you. I've lost everything, and you've got me dressed up like this to jump out and mess around and do this and perform for you. And it was just so powerful, so powerful. He had lost everything he owned, and then he had to be humiliated all day, following the wife around in the grocery store, having her put her feet up on the back seat and noticing that she thinks he smells. And all of this stuff just finally came to a head, and it's just very disturbing and very real and very metaphoric. Like I said, there is a lot of stuff to talk about in this film. I'm sure I'll get done editing this video and putting it out there and realize there's probably 20 different things that I wish I would have talked about, but I don't want to make this an hour-long video. The last thing that I want to talk about with this film is the title, Parasite. First of all, I think the title led a lot of people to think that this was some kind of horror or science fiction film, because this director has done them in the past with The Host and Snowpiercer. And so I think especially like me, if you went in blind. I didn't watch a single trailer or anything about this film. I wanted to go in blind. I didn't want to have anything built up in my head as to what this film was going to be. But with the title Parasite, it makes your mind go towards that horror sci-fi arena. So it's understandable. But it couldn't be, this film couldn't be further from that. But getting back to the title, Parasite. I think your first notion is to apply that label to our main character family, the service industry family, because you would think that they're a parasite on this rich family. But if you really think about it, they're really not stealing or taking from this family. They're providing a service in the end. Yes, they lied to get those positions and broke laws to get those positions and committed a whole host of frauds, but they are working for what they're getting paid. But in the end, they are feeding off the benefit of being employed by this family. You could also apply the label parasite to the ex-housekeeper and her husband, who has been living in the hidden basement and because she's stealing food to give him and things like that. But you see how much respect that those two had for the family that they were living with. And but I think moreover, the term parasite could be applied to the rich family. The director goes to great lengths to show how inept they are at everyday life. They can't cook food, they can't wash dishes, they can't go shopping, they can't drive themselves, they can't raise their children without these other people. They can't do it on their own. And so they're feeding and sucking off the knowledge and abilities of these lower class people to exist how they do. So they're the parasites.
부자인데 착하다니까. 진짜 니가 착한 거지.
But yes, overall, I would highly recommend this film. Go see it. If you've seen it, please put your thoughts below. I'd love to hear them. And if you picked up on any symbolism that I didn't talk about, please put that below. I'm always interested in other people's takes on what they saw in the film and what they thought the meaning was behind things in the film. Well, that's going to do it for this review. So until next time, this is Lindsay signing off. I'll check you later.